guys, it's April, and in honor of Valentine's Day coming up, Monthly Recommendations has decided to go on the topic of not another love story. So this means book recommendations that aren't based on a love story. There was another reason why these books were written and produced and on my shelf, because I love them. As always, Monthly Recommendation is a wonderful group that was started by Trina and Kayla, so I will link all the information down below in case you want to find more recommendations or you would like to join the group yourself. Either one. Do it. Do it. Do it. To start out my recommendation list, I'm gonna go with a classic. I'm gonna go with one of those books that absolutely everybody has heard about, and then there's people that like it, there's people that hate it, and there's people who just don't want to read it. And that is Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. I really enjoyed this book. So this book is set in a future in which books are pretty much banned. They are seen as an item that will cause people to think in ways they are not supposed to think. They will cause revolutions and uprisings and just disrupt the status quo, so systematically books have been eliminated. With that being said, firefighters are actually the ones who burn books. They no longer put out fires because at this point everything is pretty much flame retardant. So firefighters are actually starting fires. Guy is actually one of these firefighters, and then he starts to get a taste for books. And he starts questioning, and this leads him on this great big huge journey that has him questioning what this society is doing and what books really are. Bradbury saw what was happening in his time and took it to the extreme, as if we were going to stop writing books and it was all going to become this heavily media saturated society, and the possibility of what that could mean. And it's fascinates me to no end, because you can see little snippets of that today, even though we didn't go that extreme with it, which I'm glad, because books are amazing. So if you like books and you like literature and you like future stuff, read it. You should. I then wanted to recommend both Ender's Game and Ender's Shadow by Orson Scott Card. These are actually both the first books in two different series, but they take place in the same timeline and the same story. Ender is the main protagonist in this book. Bean is the main protagonist in this book. However, intersecting these stories is when both meet up at their military academy school in which to help them fight off aliens, and then you get to see the interactions from both sides and the final battle between said aliens and the thought process through all of that, and just what stupid people can do to young kids. It delves into some pretty deep topics. This is kind of set in the future. This is another one of those futuristic books in which mankind is fighting this race of aliens who had once before tried to invade us, and now we're trying to pre-strike at them so that they don't do it again. There is a movie, but the book is better, and you get so many more feels while reading this book and questioning society and what the flip people were thinking doing to these poor kids, and just how young they are throughout all of these series. It devastates me. It absolutely devastates me. And then there is The Circle by Dave Eggers. I will preface this by saying there is a smidgen of romance in this book, but not like anything substantial. There's maybe a page where we talk about an ex and a page where we talk about somebody who has possible potential, but the majority of this story is centered around May as she joins The Circle, which is a company that has basically taken over all of the social media. So they control all these social platforms and they encourage people to basically saturate their life with the social medias. It takes a look at what we could become if that's what we decide to do, if society goes in that direction, and the pros and cons of what that kind of positive or negative affirmation kind of thing could mean. You start to see some of the social medias we have today embedded into this, and it gets creepy really fast. The end game for the circle is to have a completely transparent life for people, so you can know basically everything about everybody and have absolutely no privacy. Yeah. I have also heard that this will become a movie, or is becoming a movie, and Emma Watson maybe in this, so there's that. And finally, I couldn't not add this book to my list, and I just kind of realized that most of my books are like sci-fi books and or have orange on the cover. That wasn't intentional, but I like sci-fi, and some really good sci-fi don't care about romance. They care about technology and just questioning society, and I think that's cool. But anyways, I digress. My last book that I want to recommend to you beautiful faces is The Martian by Andy Weir. I'm gonna take a side note right now, and I'm just gonna do this real quick. Oh my gosh! You can't really read that, but that's a signature. That's a signature. Okay, back on target. Back on target. The Martian. I absolutely loved this story. This is a story about Mark Watney, who is stranded on Mars after an accident where his team left him behind. The wit and the science in this book absolutely grabbed my heart, and I love it to death. Mark Watney is such a believable character. The movie adaptation of this is equally as good, but in different ways, and there's some things that I feel are missing in it, like normal. I mean, that's how things go. But there's something about this book. It makes you want to eat potatoes and maybe learn a few sciencey things. It's adorable in weird ways if you like odd scientists, which I do because I work with them every day, so I've learned to deal. So those were just a couple recommendations if you're looking for a non-mushy, romancy kind of book this month or any other month. And if you have a non-romance recommendation for me, I would love to hear it, because I realized upon looking for some of these books that I have a really romance-heavy bookshelf case thing. Mainly because a lot of my books are fairy tale retellings. That might be the reason why. But just let me know what your favorites are, and I heart your beautiful faces. Bye.